Have you ever wondered why some online stores make you want to buy everything, while others make you want to run away screaming? I'm about to reveal the hidden psychology behind e-commerce design that separates million-dollar stores from complete failures. And by the end of this video, you'll know exactly how to transform your online store into a sales-generating machine that practically forces customers to hit that buy button. Look, I've been studying e-commerce psychology for over a decade, and I've discovered something shocking. Most online store owners are unknowingly sabotaging their own sales with terrible design choices that literally push customers away. But the successful ones? They're using specific psychological triggers that tap directly into the human brain's buying patterns. And today, I'm going to share every single one of these secrets with you. Before we dive deep into these game-changing strategies, make sure you hit that subscribe button because we're about to uncover the exact design elements that can double or even triple your conversion rates, and you definitely don't want to miss what's coming next. Let's start with the most powerful psychological trigger in e-commerce design, the mere exposure effect. This principle states that people develop preferences for things they're familiar with. In e-commerce terms, this means your customers need to feel comfortable and familiar with your store layout within seconds of landing on your page. When visitors arrive at your site feeling confused or overwhelmed, their brain immediately triggers a flight response, and they'll leave faster than you can blink. The solution? Create what I call a familiarity framework. This means following established design patterns that customers already recognize from successful stores. Place your logo in the top left corner, put your navigation menu across the top or down the left side, and ensure your search bar is prominently displayed in the upper right area. These aren't just design conventions. They're psychological comfort zones that make customers feel safe enough to explore and eventually purchase. But here's where most store owners make their first critical mistake. They try to be too creative with their layout, thinking that unique equals better. Wrong. Unique equals confusing when it comes to e-commerce. Your customers have been conditioned by Amazon, Shopify stores, and major retailers to expect certain elements in specific locations. When you deviate from these patterns, you're creating unnecessary friction that kills sales. Now let's talk about the power of visual hierarchy, which is absolutely crucial for guiding your customers' eyes exactly where you want them to go. The human brain processes visual information in a predictable pattern called the F pattern or Z pattern, depending on cultural reading habits. Understanding this allows you to strategically place your most important elements, like product images, prices, and buy buttons, in the spots where eyes naturally land first. Here's a golden rule that most e-commerce owners completely ignore. Your product images should take up at least 60% of the visible screen space on product pages. Why? Because online shopping is inherently visual. Customers can't touch, smell, or physically examine your products, so high-quality, large images become their primary decision-making tool. When you shrink images to make room for excessive text or cluttered design elements, you're literally reducing your chances of making a sale. But size isn't everything when it comes to product images. The angle, lighting, and context matter just as much. Show your products being used by real people in real situations. This triggers what psychologists call the simulation heuristic, where customers mentally picture themselves using your product. The easier it is for them to imagine owning and using your product, the more likely they are to purchase it. Color psychology plays a massive role in purchase decisions, and this is where things get really interesting. Different colors trigger different emotional responses and behaviors. Red creates urgency and excitement, which is why it's perfect for sale tags and limited time offers. Blue builds trust and reliability, making it ideal for buttons and security badges. Green suggests money, growth, and positive action, which explains why so many buy buttons are green. However, here's the twist that most marketers miss. Color effectiveness depends heavily on contrast and context, not just the color itself. A red buy button might perform terribly on a red website, but the same button could be incredibly effective on a blue or white site. The key is creating sufficient contrast so your call to action buttons literally jump off the page and demand attention. Let's dive into the psychology of pricing displays, because how you show your prices can dramatically impact perceived value and purchase likelihood. First, charm pricing using numbers ending in 9 or 99 isn't just a gimmick. It's a scientifically proven method that makes prices appear significantly lower than they actually are. Your brain processes the first digit faster than it can fully compute the entire number, so $29 feels much cheaper than $30, even though the difference is minimal. But here's an advanced pricing strategy that few stores implement correctly. Anchoring. Always show your highest priced items first, either at the top of category pages or as the first option in product comparisons. This creates a psychological anchor point that makes all subsequent prices seem more reasonable by comparison. When customers see a $500 product first, a $200 alternative suddenly feels like an amazing deal. The placement and design of your buy buttons can make or break your conversion rates. These buttons need to be large enough to easily tap on mobile devices, but not so large that they appear overwhelming or desperate. The ideal buy button should stand out from everything else on the page while maintaining visual harmony with your overall design aesthetic. Here's a conversion trick that most stores completely overlook. Button copy matters more than button color. Instead of generic phrases like add to cart or buy now, use action-oriented language that creates urgency and desire. Phrases like get yours today, claim your discount, or start saving now perform significantly better because they focus on the customer's benefit rather than the transaction itself. Social proof is perhaps the most powerful psychological trigger in e-commerce, but most stores implement it incorrectly. Product reviews aren't just nice-to-have features. They're essential trust-building elements that can increase conversion rates by up to 40%. But here's the crucial part. The placement and presentation of reviews matters enormously. Place your highest-rated reviews prominently near product descriptions and buy buttons. Include photos with reviews whenever possible, because visual reviews are perceived as more authentic and trustworthy. Don't hide negative reviews either, because having a few critical reviews actually increases overall credibility. Customers expect some negative feedback, and stores with only perfect reviews often appear fake or manipulated. Beyond individual product reviews, showcase broader social proof elements throughout your site. Display customer counts, recent purchases, and testimonials from real users. Create what I call social momentum by showing that other people are actively buying from your store. Real-time purchase notifications, customer photo galleries, and user-generated content all contribute to this powerful psychological effect. Mobile optimization isn't just about responsive design anymore. It's about understanding mobile shopping psychology. Mobile shoppers have different needs, attention spans, and behaviors compared to desktop users. They're often shopping in micro moments during commutes, breaks, or idle time, which means your mobile experience needs to be lightning fast and incredibly intuitive. Simplify your mobile navigation to essential categories only. Implement thumb-friendly button sizes and spacing. Most importantly, optimize your checkout process for mobile users by minimizing form fields and offering mobile payment options like Apple Pay or Google Pay. Every additional tap or form field on mobile represents a potential abandonment point. Loading speed affects more than just user experience. It directly impacts your psychological credibility. Studies show that customers form opinions about your site's trustworthiness within 50 milliseconds of loading. If your pages take more than 3 seconds to load, you're not just losing impatient customers, you're being perceived as unprofessional or unreliable. Optimize your images, minimize plugins, and choose fast hosting solutions. But beyond technical optimization, use psychological tricks to make loading feel faster. Implement skeleton screens that show content structure while loading. Use progress indicators for multi-step processes, and preload critical elements like product images and buy buttons. Trust signals are absolutely essential for online sales, especially for new or lesser-known brands. Security badges, SSL certificates, money-back guarantees, and return policies all contribute to customer confidence. But placement matters enormously. Put security badges near payment forms, display return policies prominently on product pages, and showcase guarantees near buy buttons. Create what I call a trust ecosystem throughout your entire site. Include an about page with real photos and bios of your team. Display contact information prominently, including phone numbers and physical addresses when possible. Show your social media following and engagement levels. All of these elements work together to build the credibility needed for customers to feel safe making purchases. Scarcity and urgency are powerful motivators, but they must be used authentically to maintain trust. Real inventory levels, genuine sale deadlines, and actual limited quantities are effective psychological triggers. Fake countdown timers and misleading scarcity claims will backfire spectacularly when customers discover the deception. Implement genuine scarcity by showing actual inventory levels for popular items. Create real urgency with legitimate time-sensitive offers. Use social proof to enhance scarcity by showing how many other customers are viewing or have recently purchased specific items. The key is authenticity combined with strategic presentation. Your checkout process represents the final psychological hurdle between browsing and buying. Every field, step, and decision point in checkout is an opportunity for customers to abandon their purchase. Minimize required information to absolute essentials. Offer guest checkout options alongside account creation. Display security assurances and return policies prominently during the payment process. One of the most effective checkout optimizations is showing a progress indicator that demonstrates how close customers are to completing their purchase. This taps into the completion bias, where people have a strong psychological drive to finish tasks they've started. When customers see they're already 75% through checkout, they're much more likely to complete the remaining steps. The psychology of abandoned cart recovery goes beyond simple email reminders. Understand why customers abandon carts in the first place. Sometimes it's comparison shopping, sometimes it's sticker shock, and sometimes it's genuine distraction. Your recovery strategy should address these different motivations with appropriate messaging and incentives. Create a sequence of recovery touchpoints that gradually increase in urgency and value. Start with a gentle reminder. Follow up with social proof from other customers, and finish with a time-limited incentive if necessary. But always focus on value rather than pressure, because customers can sense desperation, and it kills conversion rates instantly. Personalization is becoming increasingly important for e-commerce success, but it goes beyond just using customer names and emails. Implement behavioral triggers that show relevant products based on browsing history. Create dynamic homepage content that adapts to customer preferences and past purchase behavior. Use geographic data to show relevant shipping options and delivery timelines. The future of e-commerce design lies in understanding individual customer psychology rather than applying broad generalizations. Advanced stores are using artificial intelligence to adapt design elements, product recommendations, and even color schemes based on individual user behavior and preferences. Here's your action plan for implementing these psychological design principles. Start by auditing your current site against each element I've discussed today. Focus on the areas with the biggest gaps first, because small improvements in critical areas often produce better results than major changes in less important sections. Test everything systematically. What works for one store might not work for another, because audiences, products, and contexts vary significantly. Use A/B testing to validate changes before implementing them site-wide. Track not just conversion rates, but also engagement metrics like time on page, bounce rate, and pages per session. Remember, effective e-commerce design isn't about following the latest trends or copying successful competitors. It's about understanding your specific customer's psychological needs and creating experiences that address those needs efficiently and authentically. The stores that master this psychological approach will dominate their markets regardless of competition or economic conditions. If this video helped you understand the psychology behind effective e-commerce design, smash that like button and subscribe for more advanced marketing strategies. Drop a comment below, sharing which psychological trigger you're most excited to implement in your store. And don't forget to check out the next video, where I reveal the conversion optimization mistakes that are secretly killing your sales rates.